Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? Most of us have heard these terms. They're meant to describe how we attach to the people we love. 3 neat boxes to explain something as complicated as intimacy. But here's what doesn't get talked about. What happens when you don't stay in the same box? What if anxious people suddenly start to pull away? What if the people who once needed constant reassurance now treat closeness like a threat? That's the shift we're seeing more and more of. A quiet movement from anxious to avoidant. And it isn't random. It's a reaction. Imagine this. You're ghosted for the 3rd time in a row. Before, you would have chased, begged for clarity, clung harder. Now, you shrug. You tell yourself it doesn't matter, even though it does. You walk away before anyone can get close enough to leave. Or this. You used to text back right away, heart pounding, waiting for their reply. Now you keep your phone face down. You match with people, but your energy's flat. It's not that you don't want love anymore. It's that you don't want the pain that seems to come with it. Or maybe this seems familiar. You're with friends, laughing, and you admit out loud, I used to care too much. Now I don't care at all. Everyone nods, because they know the feeling too. And then there's the online version. People joking about switching sides, celebrating distance. TikToks of people smiling to the camera, saying, I'm free now, I don't care anymore. Free, but at what cost? This might look like growth, but it doesn't mean that it's healing. For some, the anxious to avoidant switch isn't about personality, it's about defense. After enough hurt, enough disappointment, something inside shifts. Instead of reaching out, you retreat. Instead of needing closeness, you protect yourself by avoiding it. On the surface, it feels like control, but in reality, it's another way of carrying the pain. So why does this switch happen? Think of it this way. There's only so many times you can knock on a locked door before you stop trying. If you've spent years reaching for closeness and getting pushed away, it makes sense that eventually you stop reaching at all. That's what the shift really is, self-protection. Fear dressed up as detachment. Instead of the anxious need for reassurance, you wear the avoidant armor, independence, distance, or pretending you don't care. It's not that you've become a different kind of person. It's that your nervous system has learned closeness equals pain. So you begin to build yourself a wall. How do you know if you've made that shift? It might look like suddenly going cold with someone new, even if you like them. Or swinging between extremes. One moment you're clingy and desperate, the next you're unreachable. It might look like treating dating like a game. You talk about not caring, but deep down you know that's not true. Sometimes the switch is so subtle you don't notice until you step back and realize, I don't show up the way I used to. I'm not even giving people the chance to know me. So what is the real cost of this avoidance? Here's the thing. At first, avoidance feels like freedom. No one can hurt you if you never let them in. No one can leave if you leave first. But over time, that freedom starts to feel like something else. Suspicion, loneliness, or just quiet flatness. And here's the hardest truth. When you live like this, you're still giving power to the people who hurt you. They're gone, but you're still carrying their shadow into every new connection. So yes, avoidance can protect you in the short term, but it also cuts you off from the very thing you wanted in the first place. Closeness, intimacy, connection, and love. Why are people celebrating this? Because distance feels easier than vulnerability. Saying I don't care feels stronger than admitting I'm scared. It's not weakness, it's survival. But remember, survival is not the same as healing. So, how can we move towards security? So if anxious pulls too hard and avoidant pushes too far, where does that leave us? Secure doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean you never feel fear or doubt. It means you know how to hold those fears without letting them control you. A secure approach will look something like this. You set boundaries, but you don't build walls. You notice red flags, but you don't assume everyone is one. You ask for what you need instead of hiding it or demanding it. You compromise without erasing yourself. Most of all, it means that you trust yourself enough to sit in the unknown, to give someone a chance without needing to control the outcome. And this is not a quick fix. It takes practice. Here's the bottom line, so listen carefully. Attachment styles aren't fixed identities. They're stories we write to make sense of what's happened to us. So if you've gone from anxious to avoidant, please don't mistake it for growth. And remember, it's not proof you're unlovable. It's proof you've been hurt, and you can heal this. Real growth is learning how to feel safe without shutting yourself off, to let closeness in without letting fear run the show. So maybe the question isn't, am I anxious, avoidant, or secure? You should be asking yourself, how do I want to love now? And what would it take for me to feel safe enough to do it? You've been watching The Soft Skills. Like and subscribe for more clarity on the hidden patterns that shape how we love.